Welcome to Promote, Profit, Publish. I'm super excited about today's guest. This is going to be a really fun show, and I have a surprise to spring on him. I don't do this very often. In fact, I've never done it. So before we get started here, I want to invite you to go over and take our Promote, Profit, Publish quiz at www.promoteprofitpublishquiz.com. Find out where your platform building skills are. Are you getting the kind of results that you set out to do when you wanted to change the world? So today's guest is really going to be a lot of fun. His name is Scott Carson, and he's the CEO of WeCloseNotes.com. Now you're probably thinking, real estate? Really? Like, Juliet, where are you going with this? But we're going to have a really great discussion about online programs. So Scott is the host of the popular Note Closers Show podcast. He's been an active real estate investor and entrepreneur since 2002. There was some rough times in there, I'm sure. But he's focused on the niche of distressed mortgages and notes since the industry crashed in 2008. He's helped create and educate thousands of other successful note investors who closed on thousands of deals for their portfolio through his different educational programs. So I'll just tell you that if he was doing this in 2008, he was probably the only person out there making money in 2008, besides me, who was taking your home away and selling it to someone else. So he is a highly sought after speaker and podcast guest on the distressed debt, marketing, and entrepreneurship and raising private capital, with speaking appearances at the National Association of Realtors Convention, Noteworthy Convention, and Podfest Multimedia Expo. Sure, I can speak. National REIA Cruise, along with many other real estate investing clubs and groups across the country. He's also been featured in Investors Business Daily, The Wall Street Journal, and Inc.com. He's an avid sports fan. You can kind of tell that from the little bells and whistles he has on his show. And he also spends his free time attending sporting events, concerts, and traveling to new places. So I have to ask before I welcome you, welcome. But I have to ask, your favorite teams?
I'm a big University of Texas Longhorn fan, so that's it. But funny enough, when it comes to baseball, I'm a big San Francisco Giants fan. So
okay, no professional football?
Oh, of course, I love the Cowboys. Go Cowboys! Yes, definitely.
Of course you do. I was married to an avid Cowboys fan back in the, I want to say the 90s, when they were all felons. Like, it was required that you had to either have a felony on your record to be on the team or gain the felony while you were on the team. So I'm with you.
Yeah, those were the golden years.
I used to be a San Francisco fan until they got really crappy. So yeah, I used to defend them. I was the only San Francisco 49er fan in a family of Ram fans.
Oh, wow. Good times. Well, hopefully the Niners are making a comeback. Hopefully the Rams were pretty good for the most part last year. I think it'll be again the Rams and the Cowboys in the NFC playoffs this year, but it's early. It's way too early to tell.
Yes, it is. So I have a little surprise for you.
I'm hoping I'm not going to be scared.
Yeah, you are. So I was on Scott's show, and he was talking about the prize pigs. Those are the people that run up after the radio show and they want the prizes. And I was so disappointed. Scott, play a few of those so people get a flavor of what you have.
That was one of my favorites. Drum roll, please. I think I started that one off there. Or we've got since we're in Texas, or as one of my favorites here too is, or some people say I'm full of.
Oh, come on now, that ain't even bullshit. That's
That's a very Texas one.
Very Texas.
So I was super disappointed that we talked about prize pigs and no pig. And I tried desperately to go out and get you a snorting pig, but I failed.
That's right.
But I have something better that I'm bringing to you in Orlando. You now have every farm animal in the barn. So.
Oh my gosh, Fisher Price. Yes, one of my favorite toys as a kid was that, actually. Wow, that's awesome.
Now we have our own sound effects, and you will have sheep and pigs. There's even a question mark on here. So every farm animal, there's a question mark. There's some music. So I expect great things from your podcast now.
it'll take the Note Closer show to a whole nother level of
Right?
hilarity.
Right?
Awesome.
And you're already getting so many downloads. So I'm pretty excited about this. And you can credit me every time you play.
I will.
Mind. Okay. So I'll see you in Orlando with that.
Yes.
So I can tell you're really excited about that.
I honestly, I'm already like, where's it going to go on the desk?
Oh no, you're freezing again. So I love it. I hope they don't edit that out because you were literally like this. Frozen.
Stroke face.
No.
Good. Yes.
Okay. For some reason, we have something here that's unstable. So hopefully we can edit it out. Well, and besides the host and her guest today. So tell us a little, we actually did plan on doing a show here. I'm so sorry. So tell us a little bit about your niche.
So our niche is kind of small. It's in the distressed debt side. And most people ask me, what's the heck is distressed debt? Well, if you've ever had a mortgage and had your mortgage, gotten a letter, and it was sold to somebody else, that's kind of what we do. We buy and sell distressed debt. Predominantly people who have not paid on their mortgage for the last 6, 12, 24 plus months. So we buy that debt at substantial discounts, and then we work to kind of, instead of foreclosing on the borrower, we try to rehab the borrower, as we like to say, and try to keep them in their home. Unfortunately, we do have to foreclose about half the time because the borrowers won't work with us, but we really do try to keep people in their homes. And I've been doing this for over a decade now in this specific niche, back when everything hit the fan, as you and I were talking earlier. And it's been a interesting and wild ride. One of the things that we've done is we're dealing with so many different markets, and I'm in Austin, Texas here, so hook 'em horns. We don't see a lot of stuff here because the market's really strong. So I buy a lot in about 30 different states across the country. And so a couple of years ago, I wanted to find a way that I could connect with more investors in different areas, teaching and sharing the deals that we do. And so we really have moved from doing, the hotel style events to going to 100% online virtual events. And it's done nothing but pay off big time for us.
Yes. And I know a couple people, I know hardly anybody does those big events anymore, but I know a couple people who do the Airbnb styles for really like weekend intensive stuff. Everybody out there is trying to do the online program, and some people are doing it really well. Some people are really still trying to do the quote cash machine. Can we talk about that for a minute?
What avenue, the cash machine, about trying to drive butts into seats, or the aspect of trying to develop a program with a big $30,000, $25,000 training program attached to it? We could go to a couple ways that you want to go to.
Yeah, I think for the people who actually think that you don't have to build a relationship, that email is a relationship, and I'm going to do a webinar, I'm going to drive this traffic in, I'm going to sell a $25,000, $5,000, $10,000 ticket item, and nobody will ever have to talk to me. That kind of cash machine.
Yeah, no, that doesn't work. I mean, don't get me wrong. We do have an advanced coaching program of $15,000 for what we do, but it does come all down to developing relationships. And that's one of the biggest things. While we have our, workshop that we do 3 to 4 times a year online, and we'll have 100 to 200 people that attend remotely. It takes a lot of in between those 3 to 4 months of providing content. Now, I used to travel 45, 50 weeks out of the year to different events, and I was getting sick and not enjoying life anymore. Mm-hmm. And that's why we started doing online stuff. But we have to realize, if you're not going to be meeting somebody in person, shaking their hand either at a networking event or a meetup group or at another conference, you've got to really, as I like to say, just be yourself online and be there to answer questions and really build a relationship a little bit differently versus, hi, buy my stuff, I'm awesome, and run to the back of the room. And so it did take us a little while of understanding that we really have to dive in and get to know those attending. And that's what I love so much about what you do. When you called me a couple of weeks ago, I was like, oh, I love it, because that's one of the biggest things that we do is you have to, if you don't have the time to talk with that person one-on-one between breaks or throughout a 3-day workshop around the hotel, you got to take the time to really dive into it and try to figure out what they're doing to begin with. And I think I think most people believe that when that event is done on a Saturday or Sunday evening, you're done. And that's really the only halfway point for us. So a lot of us is in the data collection on the front end, seeing what happened during the 2 or 3 or 4 days. And then following up is where the money is made. if you really want to talk with people, and then sell them into the coach. I mean, what we've always found is that if you're providing good content, somewhere between $100 to $200 average a day cost for a workshop is pretty good. If it's an intro thing, you're going to be really hard to have people sign up for something more than $97 for the most part, is what we've seen. And so for that 97, maybe for like a teaser half day, one day, maybe a couple hour webinar that feeds them into a 3-day workshop. And we're charging anywhere from $399 to $997 for some sort of training program that includes a ticket to the live workshop. And then it's all about the follow-up at the end.
Mm-hmm. No, it definitely is. So virtual events have obviously helped your business. And I do get that about you're on the road, you're not getting your exercise, you're eating bad food. For some people, they're drinking a lot.
Well, I for 3 years, I lived like a rock star, and the extra weight I put on was sponsored by ribeyes and Crown Royal.
If you just cut it down to the Crown Royal, you wouldn't have gained the weight. No.
I would have probably, as much as I drank it, I would,
But so that, first of all, that life on the road gets really old really fast. I knew that when I traveled in advertising, and when I first got into this business, I did it again. But the other part of that is you're at the events with a bunch of broke ass people.
Mm-hmm.
So I hopefully they're going to have to edit that out.
No. I think we should keep the broke ass people in there, because that falls in line with why you should never, and I say this respectfully, I know people starting off, you want to start speaking and going to places, and you should take different things. But once you get to the point, that was a big thing that I had to make too, to value my time. As I got better at what I do, I had more and more people wanting me to come speak. And so I had to value my time, especially if I travel out to some place. I want to make sure it's going to a place where the actual attendees have some sort of investment in the event.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we joked about prize pigs, because if you do a free event, a lot of people will show or register for it, but you only have about 40 to 50% of people that show up. And if they didn't pay anything to get there, there's no incentive for them for you to, no matter how good your stuff is, they may not have any money to buy anything. So one of the big things I try to do is, hey, like a RIA club wants me to come out and speak or do a webinar. Okay. Is there a monthly cost? Is there a monthly membership that these people are paying? I don't care if it's $100 or $20. It's something that they've got invested in the event. Because then if you start looking at my sales, or your sales will do a lot better when you're going to an event that somebody's paid for versus a free event.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not saying you might get some sales at a free event if you have a lower cost thing, but as we know, most people want to do a high priced offering. And what I mean by high price, $2,000 or more is what we usually say to that, to drive that, to make it worth your time, because it takes money to fly and travel and print and speak. And so that's the big thing is free has no value no matter what you do. So at some point you have to start valuing your time and start being specific. I had a guy get mad on the phone with me yesterday. He wanted me to come to Baltimore and speak at his RIA club that I spoke at a year ago. I was like, oh, great. And I said, what was the monthly member? He goes, oh, we stopped charging. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't come. He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, you don't charge anymore. You're getting these bigger crowds, but is there really people in there that are doing anything?
Mm-hmm.
Those are the people that we want to talk to. And most of those people that are doing something, they value their time and they're going to invest either in their education by becoming a member or signing up for a training program if that's something that you want to do.
Yeah, we're actually, there's a paid speaking organization where people are going out and they're getting paid and not getting leads. And we found another organization where those people are paying for sponsorships to talk. And those are actually more our audience, because they want to know that they're going to get ROI on that money. And so it's really, really important in that sense. So what are some of the things that you do to connect with your audience?
So one of the things that I connect is, you were joking about earlier when we pulled up my YouTube account, we're looking at it, is I provide a lot of content.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I think I've got more online videos, more online webinars. I mean, we just celebrated our 500th podcast episode. That's all the video.
Wow.
Yeah. I think yours is 515 or 514 actually. We had you. So one of the things that we hear religiously is people like, hey, Scott, I've been following you for 3 months, or been following you for 6 months. Or one lady was really nice. She's like, you're the only white man I let in my bedroom at night.
Wow.
I was like, hey, awesome. Scott Carson After Dark. But anyway, but that's the thing. Everybody's in the media business these days. So you have to provide. And I think there's a big, I'll give you a great story. One of my peers in my niche of real estate has been around for 3+ decades, had a conversation. He goes, Scott, your generation is in the giving. My generation is not in the giving of information. Really? And I said, well, we're in the Google information phase. You've got to evolve or you're going to die, figuratively. So with the help of YouTube and media, you got to realize, hey, you can't charge for everything. You got to give some goodies so people, value your time. You want to give them some stuff. My buddy Roland Frazier, who's an amazing marketer. I don't know if you know who Roland Frazier is, but he's one of the guys behind Traffic and Conversion Summit. And he always taught me, you want to try to make your training program the all-you-can-eat buffet, where it's got your training and maybe it's a live event and then also some coaching calls and stuff like that, because that's what the true value is out there. And people take your class, they're going to test you out for that. And if they like you and trust you, and then your class is in line with what you've provided online, then those that are serious, usually the 5 to 10% who are really serious, then they'll look at having that conversation about a deeper relationship. And what I always tell people is, I say this today, if anybody wants to call me, I give everybody 30 minutes. Mm-hmm. I pick my brain 30 minutes. People really appreciate that, because and I'm straightforward. I'm like, listen, I don't think this is the right thing for you. Maybe you need to go do this. Mm-hmm. Or now save your money. I don't need you to sign up for a training program yet. Go watch this video series first and then come back. And then little things too, like if somebody goes to my website and they opt in to learn more about our training or our mastermind, it alerts me. And the first thing I do is really low tech. I do a quick little 1-minute video here, holding my phone, do a selfie video. Hey, great to meet you, Juliet. I see that you're living in Southern California. I hope the weather's nice out there. Use the link below in the text to connect, and let's talk for 30 minutes and see if I can help you hit your goals.
Are you doing that on BombBomb?
No, I'm just straight up doing it on my phone. I'm going low tech on that. I should probably use BombBomb, but it's a simple text message straight to them. As long as the video is a minute or less, it's easily texted through, and then I can see if it's delivered. And then we're getting, I'm not joking, a 50% opt-in into the Calendly links from doing that. Mm-hmm. And then I'm getting a 90% close ratio when people opt in and I get on the phone with them. They either are signing up for one of our trainings, mm-hmm. or signing up and becoming a mastermind member at 15 grand.
So I'm going to share something that I think it's really cool that Scott and I both do, that every marketer out there will tell you no, is we're getting phone numbers. If you won't give us your phone number, you're not serious enough to work with us. Mm-hmm. And so I for years, lead magnets, all that stuff, marketers have said, no, that even exchange of information is that ebook or that video for an email address. Nobody's opening email. So no. I love that that you're actually texting them and giving them that personal intro. And you don't have to buy BombBomb to do it. That's cool. You're just doing it.
Yeah, and that's just it. We get a couple opt-ins a day off it, and it's one of the things I do before I go home at night. I'm like, okay, who opted in today? And it's a quick, and I can do it on the road too. So I've done it from the back of taxi cabs, or sitting in the airport. Hey, I just saw that you opted in. Just wanted to send you a quick message. I'm traveling here. Would love to visit with you. And I use Calendly as my schedule so they can pick a time that works best for them and for me both. And it makes it easy to. And many people are like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you took the time to send me a personalized video or text. I'm like, yeah, why wouldn't I? If you're going to take the time and want to learn, I'm glad to have that personal connection with them.
That is so cool. I went to brunch on Sunday with somebody who's in the real estate world who uses that as well. And he says the open rate on it is incredible. Not what you're doing, but he uses BombBomb. And by the way, if you're listening, that's BOMB. And he says the open rate on it is unbelievable compared to normal email. And people are shocked because they're literally reading your email. You get a notification and he's got the phone out calling you. And they're, oh, I was just reading your email. Oh, that's right. The technology does that. They don't even realize it half the time.
And they don't. But the beautiful thing is it's pretty inexpensive. I mean, BombBomb or others, that's a pretty low cost thing. And most people get let's build a huge email list. Well, a lot of people have started creating personalized emails for their spam and junk folders now. I see it all the time, like Scott Carson at such and such gmail.com, Scott Carson emails, or junk folder at. And I'm like, and opt-in rates in the real estate industry, we see somewhere between an 18 to 20% ratio, and that number decreases as your list grows. And so we've really incorporated in collecting people's phone numbers so that we can send them a text message, even if they don't opt in for them. But you've got first name, email, and you got to get that cell phone number, because that's where people are spending most of their time at. And so text messages are read 85% of the time in the first 2 minutes they're sent. You can have clickable links in there. Whether you're using like Fix My Funnel, or I use Mobit.com. And it's also a great thing too, if you're speaking from stage. So many people, especially if you get stuff on your PowerPoints that you're providing, a lot of people try to pull their phone out. So like the first slide I usually put up there is like, hey, if you really want to get my slides, here, I want you to learn, instead of worry about taking a photo, just text notes to 72000 and you'll get a link with my slides for free, and 80 hours of webinars that I've done so you can watch and learn more. And that's always about 25 to 30% of the audience will opt into that anywhere I'm speaking at.
Yeah, that's cool. And I shared with you with ours, you have to take the assessment to get the free gift. So we have a pretty high rate. I don't know if they like us or they just want that free gift, but they're motivated.
Hey, that's what's important. And if they're motivated, that separates them from the prize pick, because they've got some commitment there. If they have no commitment, you don't want to deal with people that don't have commitment. You want to deal with
the prize pig. Oh, I have to figure out. I feel like I need to do this. I don't do it as spontaneously as you. There you go. I got to get better at that. Okay, so what's the one unique thing in your marketing that separates you from your peers? And you actually have more than one. I think you've shown me some incredibly effective things.
So one thing that we've been doing, and this goes against some things, that we've been doing webinars since 2011. And we do a webinar every almost Monday night. And, we probably do 40 to 50 a year. We've done that for the last couple of years. This year we've kind of cut down because we still do one the first Monday night, and then we do coaching calls with some of our membership students the following. But
can I ask, I just want to point out, this is a different webinar every time. It's not the same one over and over.
Yeah, it's a different live webinar, and it's got to the point now that we have coined a Monday night note night in America.
Oh, I love that.
It's like football night or hockey night or baseball night. It's note night in America, and it really took off. And so we'll get 200 to 500 people RSVP'd. We see about a 60% attendee ratio, and then we also get a couple hundred views the following day when we see the replay. But doing those webinars and providing content, and if we're doing 4 webinars in a month, here's the breakdown too. We only allow one of them to be some sort of sales video.
Okay.
Where we're offering a class or workshop. It can only be once a month, because I don't want to pitch people to death. The other.
And what's the price point on that? Because you don't go out with like your $5,000 program or something like that.
It's usually, what works really well is somewhere between $397 and like $997. So just vary in there. That's the price point we're offering something up, or we have a new vendor on, a vendor we're using, or something that we know is valuable. Like we may have another speaker on who's offering a course that we have an affiliate arrangement with, but I'm very select that that's got to be something I'm using or some of my coaching students are using that they've given thumbs up on. I don't cannibalize my list to just anybody. And I see a lot of marketers that they'll just pimp their list out to anybody. And after a while, if it's not relevant to your audience, they're going to stop showing up because they don't want to be pitched to death. So we keep that 1 out of 4 sales. Sometimes it may be 1 out of 6 weeks, but just providing content. We do our podcast 3 to 5 episodes a week too, is more content for them. And so we're really, we've got a couple thousand videos across YouTube and Vimeo of content. So as people have called me before, hey, you're that note guy on the internet. And I'm like, yeah, I'm that note guy, because I've just basically, I won't say I've thrown up on them with content, but we have given and given and given and given. And so that leads to those conversations that people call me, hey, I just binged you, or I just listened to all your episodes, or I've been following you for 6 months. Now I'm ready to do something. And I think that's the biggest key is we know when somebody comes into our world, it's usually a 3 to 6 months before they're going to buy something. So it's got to be a courting, dancing with them, kind of delivering good stuff to them as best as we can.
Yes. And that's important though, the courting, because people, uh, one of the things we find is that people don't understand their traffic temperature, and they're running cold, what they don't realize are cold ads on Facebook, and trying to close those people with 7 emails. And I don't know about you, but I've never gone to bed at night and go, oh my God, Scott wrote me the best email. Me and 72,000 other people, but I feel really good about it. It's just not personal, and it's too soon. It's way too soon. Dude,
It's way too soon. And I think I hate long sales letters. And there's so many people that do that long thing. I just start spinning to it. I'm like, get to the bottom. Tell me what's the price. I don't want to read through. I don't want to forward down and keep scrolling.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to do something like that, I'm like, hey, let me just film a short little video, a 2 to 3 minute video, maybe one where you got to just roll down 2 times on the screen. That's as long as my sales stuff goes. If they're not interested in it already, they're not a fit for them. So.
That's a very, very good point. So what's the biggest problem that you've overcome in marketing? Because I know so many people are having so many problems with marketing right now.
So I think the biggest problem that we've had with marketing, it was kind of a funny thing, is back a couple of years ago when we decided to go from doing live events to doing these virtual things. And we were doing 6 to 8 hotel workshop trainings a year, and that led to obviously going. So once every 2 months, we were doing a 3-day workshop.
Can I back up there so people understand what you're saying? So you go out, you rent a ballroom or a room in a hotel. You have a food minimum, you have a room minimum, you have a lot of money on the line there.
Yeah, usually our costs somewhere between $6,000 and $12,000 on the front end, right off the bat. $94 for a gallon of Starbucks coffee, plus
right.
a 25% surcharge.
And you can't BYOB.
No. You're paying that if you still BYOB. So. Yeah, that was, and don't get me wrong, we had some really great events. We'd have, 6-figure weekends most of the time, but it just got so old. And one thing too, when you start hitting a price point too, a lot of people want you to do it all for them versus them doing it themselves. So we found when we started hitting that 20 and 25,000 point, those were our biggest trouble children for the most part, because they wouldn't do anything. And I'm like, hey, you got homework to get where I'm at. If you're wanting to do what I'm doing, you've got to do A, B, C, and D. And you got homework every week that I'm trying to coach you through, and they wouldn't do it. And we said, heck, so we dropped it to 15, but we were going to put on an event in Houston, Texas. We're going to call it Build Your Legacy Summit. Real estate, asset protection. We're going to have Aaron Young come speak on asset protection from Wolf & Associates, George Antone on assets, me on real estate, and a few other. And we dropped 15,000 postcards through Harris County, Houston, Texas. We had a $30,000 AV budget because this would be a big thing. We're expecting 300 to 500 people, and we sold 7 tickets.
No.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so, we're getting the week before, and I'm stressed. I'm feeling horrible because I'm running different plays, and people just aren't signing up. They're not just seeing it. And so I had to call, I think it's I wrote a $15,000 check to get us out of the contract.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I had to reschedule a different event and said, hey, we'll move that room block to this new event we're doing. It was not fun. And I remember how stressed I was. I was probably the closest I felt to having a heart attack. And it was just we just bombed. And I called all the speakers, said, hey, we don't have anybody coming. Nobody signed up. Stay home. And they were all, hey, no problem. And I'm like, can I make it up for you? Can I have you on one of my webinars? Like, oh, yeah, we sell on your webinars all the time. We're glad to be on your webinar. And I was driving to Dallas with my girlfriend, Stephanie, who's my spouse. Well, we're not married. As I say, we're happy.
Oh, I thought she was just your assistant.
No. She was at one point. But anyway.
I'll be nicer to her now. No.
Yeah, you love her. She's great. But we're driving and we're talking about this big failure, this big thing. And she's like, why don't we just do an online event? You do webinars every Monday night. The crowd is used to that. We do that. I was like, I don't know. And so I said, let's give it a try. And that was the biggest thing is I had my sales staff. I had everybody else say, oh, this is going to bomb. I'm like, we'll try it once. So we did it. We did a virtual, we canceled one hotel event and said, hey, we're going to do this virtual online. We had 79 people show up out of 150 people for the 3-day online event. And our overhead went away. We didn't have $12,000 in overhead.
Right.
Our sales were just as good for the event. And we had all the replays immediately on that Monday. So our sales after the event were even greater because people could watch what they missed if they had to step away.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the biggest hurdle. Like, okay, once we saw that and tweaked it a little bit, we canceled the remaining 3 hotel events we had left for that year and went straight to just doing online. And that was 5 years ago when nobody was doing virtual events. And, people, oh, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. And they were amazed because they're like, oh, this works. We've often had speakers that were speaking in our event who were actually at another event to speak at, and their sales on our events were better, more effective. They had more people show up to the virtual event than they had at somebody else's event.
That doesn't surprise me. One of the things I loved about Aaron Young's Magnify Your Wealth is, he didn't do the big hype. He laid his pitch out. Hey, this is what you get. If it's for you, great. If it's not, that's okay too. There was no escalating, like if you don't run to the back of the room now. And I actually had grown so tired of those things. I went back and I talked to Megan and I was like, so I never really buy at the event. Is this price still available a month from now? And she's like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was so low key. I felt really good about joining because I knew it wasn't going to be there. Here's what I knew it wasn't going to be. There's so many good self-promoters out there who are horrible at delivery. Like they got you in, they got your money. They could care less about if you get through your program, how they just don't care. And I felt like the way they presented that, like they would care if I didn't get anything out of their program.
Oh, totally. Aaron would take it personally.
Yeah.
And Aaron is just a great guy. He's also, Laughlin's a sponsor of our podcast. And I've known Aaron for going on 6 years now, and just a close, one of the guys I turn to like a brother, and Michelle's the same way. And,
Mm-hmm.
And that's the beautiful thing when you find good people and you surround yourself with good people, more good people come in and you're surrounded and you get that feeling at Magnify Your Wealth with Aaron and Megan and the whole crew over there at Laughlin. So
yeah, you really
I've had to kind of beat Aaron in the head a little bit because I think his program's worth more. And so I was like, well, Aaron, you only got 6 spots left. Can I go ahead and buy those 6 spots and then I sell them at 10 grand?
Please don't raise the price. That's one thing I loved about it. But I also love too that I talked to him a couple of weeks ago about, adding the assessment on, and he doesn't really want it to grow. He loves the size that it's at now. And there aren't many people out there who can say that. He would love Unshackled Owner to grow, but not the inner circle, which I really like. I've gotten a lot of value out of it.
Yeah. And there's some magic to that number, I think whether 70, 80 people somewhere in there, maybe not quite that many. Maybe if you add in some of the mentors and stuff like that, you would have that. But it's a good group, very friendly, warm, and then people have helped each other out. I mean, that's the thing is you want to build a community. He's built a community, and that's one of the things he's done because he gives content, he shows up, he's present when he shows an events.
Yes.
Not all the speakers are present. Some like to hide out in the back or only show up for their hour, and you can't do that.
So I have a story or two about that. I was actually at an event in Pennsylvania where the woman on stage told us not to approach her when she got off stage because she needed to communicate with the universe. So it was basically don't talk to her, which I thought was hilarious. She also got on stage and said she didn't have an agenda. She was just going to let the universe download it, which I was dying laughing because I've been on the backside of these events and that was complete and utter bull blank. Like, thank you.
Warning, bullshit alert.
Yes. But I was also actually in a coaching program, not as a student, but the behind the scenes, where our guy came off the stage and he said, get these people away from me. And then we got in the lunchroom and I had prepared the offer and he was like, Juliet, can we get that offer yet? And I'm like, no, they're like, it was right after lunch and he wasn't anywhere near the point where he could have done it. So there are many out there that just don't. It's about the ka-ching.
Well, that's the thing is if somebody doesn't want to talk to you after they speak to answer questions, you think they're going to be on the phone or via email.
Right.
It just speaks. Sometimes we all put our pants on one leg at a time and we all start somewhere new. And that's the biggest thing. I think you got to keep that in mind is everybody starts somewhere. You're not God's gift to people at an event because you've been around for 2-3 years. If you really want to add value and make some difference in people's lives, people can smell that crap and see it a mile away. You got to be there and be genuine about it. I was at an event recently with somebody we won't name, but we were doing an event and the guy literally said, hey, he's trying to do 2 things in one room. And he got up and said, hey, get the F out of here, to about 100 people. And I'm like, you just lost 2/3 of your audience because you can't control your emotions.
Wow. Yeah. So, well, Scott, that was great. I don't know. Do you have any animals that'll cover that?
I know though. Maybe this is the nightmare we all learn.
maybe the turkey.
Yeah.
You're gonna have so much fun with that. It's not loud enough. Is there a way to like amplify that?
I don't know. We may have to might have to put a speaker right next.
There you go. Add a speaker. You're gonna, yeah. There you go, to a C and say. Go out, spend $10,000 on an amplifier for your.
There you go, right? There's got to be an app somewhere for that.
Okay, all right. So, do you have anything you'd like to give us away today, or how do we get a hold of you if we want to know more? Because you're actually, we should mention this and talk about it a little bit. You're having a podcast event this weekend. So next
Monday, Tuesday, September 30th and October 1st. For those that don't know, September 30th is International Podcast Day, and September is supposed to be International Podcast Month as well. So I didn't know this till last year either. So every time I've said it, people are like, huh? So yeah, we're doing a 2-day kind of a podcasting mastermind in Orlando. We're calling it the Mass Media Mastermind. I've attended a lot of podcasting events and marketing events, and it's always kind of geared towards the brand new or getting your podcast started or launched. And it's great. We all got to start somewhere, but I'm always looking for peers that are doing it that I can learn more from and hone my craft. And so we decided to put together this kind of intimate event with just a few people to really kind of, hey, what's working best for you? What's not working? How can we learn from each other and walk away with it? It's no pitches. It's literally 2 days of roundtable discussions in Orlando at the Coronado Springs Resort. massmediamastermind.com is the website. We'll probably do it again here in Austin and one in California at some point.
I'm glad you said that because this podcast will not be out in time for that.
Yeah.
But I wanted people to hear what it was about. And quite frankly, I didn't know about International Podcast Day. I just was intrigued because I haven't been to Disney World in a year.
Well, you're going to love it because what we did, how we actually booked it and why we booked it at Disney is Stephanie is a huge Disney fan. She worked at college there. And that Monday night is the last night that Epcot is doing their Illuminations fireworks show. They're canceling it after like 30 years and changing it up. So she was able to book a private dessert party spot outside of France. So we got red carpet and we got it booked. We'll probably have 70, 80 people at that thing. We'll have probably around 25 to 30 people coming to the Orlando, the podcasting day, maybe more. Get some people that are kind of tentative right now, but hey, if we have 10 people show up, it's going to be valuable. And we know we got more in that coming, but it's a great thing to bring people together that are like-minded, that are serious about it. Mm-hmm. That you're not asking, hey, how do I upload a podcast? Or, those simple things like, hey, how do I help monetize this? Or what's working in your world to grow your audience? And then really go from there.
I love the size of it because I have grown weary of those big events. I don't get anything from them. I really like anything that's under 100 people now, which probably doesn't thrill the guys who throw the big events, but I'm just done with them. You don't meet the people you're supposed to meet. You don't have time to really build relationships. So where do we find you if we want that 30 minutes with you, or we want to show up to your Monday night?
Really, really easy. You can go to WeCloseNotes.com. WeCloseNotes.com is the main website there. There's an opportunity to click there, register for notes. There's a link into our Monday night webinars and then a link to schedule 30 minutes with me. So WeCloseNotes.com is the easiest thing. You can always email me at scott@WeCloseNotes.com out there as well. And I do check my own email.
So just so you guys know, even if you're not interested in notes or real estate, watch what Scott's doing. He's a heck of a marketer. I'm even like, before we got on here, I was asking him about some things because I see things in the marketplace that aren't working and I don't want to go there. So trying to find out what the most cutting edge thing is. So watch what he's doing. Thank you, Scott. I appreciate it so much. I can't wait to see you this weekend and share your new toy. I don't think I'm gonna show up with an amplifier. You're on your own with that.
Don't worry about it. We'll bring our own.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you so much. I'm so honored, guys and gals. You gotta love what Julie's doing with this. Do her a favor. We all love it. Go over on iTunes, hit subscribe. If you're listening to this on Stitcher or iTunes, leave a review. We all love it. It's kind of our way of seeing that we're doing the right thing. And so she didn't pay me to say that. I recommend you do it because it's a way, that we get a little love back from you guys.
I actually did pay you. No.
Yep, there you go. Exactly.
You're cheap. No.
I am cheap. Yeah, exactly.
All right.